What up, though? Y'all already know what this is. Respect the worst if you don't respect the best. Top tier podcast. I am Ledge. Let's get right off into this. Smack Volume 4 took place hours ago. Probably like 4 or 5 hours ago? Yeah, about that. I'm just finishing up rewatching a few battles just to get one more look at it before I did this. I didn't want to just go off first watch. I wanted to go off multiple watches. Before I do that, I also want to just say shout out to my man Wells. Wells is the person who made the beat, as my opening and closer. So when you hear that instrumental, that's my guy Wells. Shout out to him. I know he's listening, so just wanted to give him that. All right, so Smack Volume 4, man. Now, I came with my predictions. For those who have missed it, my predictions going into these battles were, and this is going to be tough pill to swallow, but I'm a real one, so I'm going to keep it thorough with you on my predictions going into the battles and what was the outcome of, my predictions. So going into the battles, I had Danny Myers beating Chef Trez. I predicted a 2-1 victory. I predicted clean with an upset over T-Top 2-1. Yeah, I thought that John would beat Red 2-1. I had NJT beating Clips 3-0 going into that battle. We'll get to that. I had Suge losing. I had Rum. I thought Rum was going to beat Suge pretty clearly at 2-1. And then I had Arsenal with a slight upset to some, because I think Geechee was going into here as a pretty nice, solid favorite. But I had Arsenal pulling it out 2-1. So those were my predictions going into the battles. And as it stands, to me, honestly, I feel like out of those 6 battles, my record is 4-2. I feel like there was 2 that I was wrong about, but the 2 that I was wrong about, I was so convincingly wrong and just inaccurate with this and just off the wall with these predictions that I'm gonna get right into those first. I'm gonna eat the pie for that. I'm gonna eat the crow. You know what I mean? So I don't have no problem like saying when I'm wrong. These are all predictions. These are just guesses. So I'm going to go with like Clips first. The Clips NJT battle. Get it right out the way. I was clearly wrong. I thought he was going to get 30. I've seen nothing, not even just the face-offs, but nothing, no marketing from Clips. It was a random shot. When you see the trailer, you like NJT versus Charlie Clips. Can't even remember last time Charlie battled a top tier guy and came with like fire. So I was going off a lot of his over his past year and a half, 2 years of just being a very inconsistent, non-motivated battler, and thought he was going to get 30. But that man showed up. That man showed up and showed out. It was your classic. A vet was really amped to go against a newer guy or a more recent guy, a guy that's been in it for maybe 2 or 3 years and has a name and that's gaining buzz and that is the hottest right now and got everybody's attention. This is a classic case of that. Classic case of, yo, hold on, we're still here. Remember I said that about the ladies, the queen in the ring? Like, they need new blood to get they league popping. So, because the old chicks, well, not old chicks, but you know what I mean? Like the more veteran chicks really come with their material and be like, hold on, we still here. Well, that's what Clips did, man. First round. And as always, I don't give away material. Like, I'm dropping this very soon, very recent. It just happened. And, I don't want to discredit these guys who put in the work and laid their bars down. And for the people that paid and watch, all the viewers, who are just watching this shit on demand and put in their bread. but I can just tell you the vibe of the rounds, right? So Clips goes in, and right off the bat, he's kind of setting the tone with like these R&B schemes, because I guess he was alluding to the Chris Brown line that NJT had recently in a battle, and it was basically like I'm basically proud that you admit, you're such a big, imposing figure. I'm proud that you admit that you listen to Chris Brown. So that was like easy for him to go into his whole R&B flips with the 3LWs, the SW. He was just naming off New Edition. He was just reeling off all type of R&B names, and he was really solid throughout. The best version of Clips is when he's well rounded, but he's not sticking to one particular strength of his. Like, he was funny, but he wasn't joking too much when you're like, all right, let's get to the bars. He wasn't so bar heavy where he was like, all right, but what happened to the funny clips? He was kind of like picking his spots pretty well in that first round. Of course, he went with the hairline jokes, had me rolling. Like, he was just in his bag in a really good first round. Solid round, beatable round, but NJT couldn't just, come out of bed, stretch out and yawn and just snatch that round. You had to put some really serious work in, right? So if I would have to judge that round, I would give Clips about like an 8.5. Like, it was a good round, about an 8.5. So I'm like, ooh, it can be beat, but it's tough. So NJT goes, and from the gate, NJT was spazzing out. He was going crazy. Like Ultimate Warrior shaking the ropes. That's why if y'all see me on, just click hashtag Smack Volume 4. You see a GIF or whatever of Ultimate Warrior shaking ropes. That's from me. Top Tier Podcast at Pod Tier on Twitter. That shit, he was shaking the room. What I know, I had to text my homeboy. Shout out to Drew. I was like, yo, because he wasn't watching the battles. He was doing some other shit. I think he was watching Duke versus Virginia or something. I don't know. But he was asking me, wanted the update on the battle. I'm like, yo, NJT got this small room, allegedly Smack Volume room, sounding like Summer Madness off of the lines that he was saying in the first. It sounded like a whole crowd of people was in there. No lie. Sounded like Webster Hall, Summer Madness 2. Like, that's the type of reaction he was getting, and deserving the reactions, though. So you can't call it gas. And it wasn't like just his entourage. It wasn't like the Goonies were there. It was just, of course he had his Jersey affiliates, but everybody like was making faces and reactions. Even Clips was like admitting and pretty much acknowledging that he was cooking. And it was just haymakers, bars, the delivery, the aggression, him closing the space in his face. NJT was flaming Clips. I was like to myself in my head, if this is what we're getting for the next 2 rounds, we probably won't see Clips again. That's what I was thinking in my head. If we get the next 2 rounds, Clips wouldn't, his soul, I was looking up there. As I was looking to the sky, I was seeing SB looking down. I was seeing Rich Dollars like, yo, do we got company? Like, it was getting dark. But Clips has a really good defense when, he can laugh at your material and make it seem like it's cute, but it's not hitting and not landing. So he was doing like some veteran, like, defense mechanism type stuff, like shoulder rolling on some Mayweather, like, yeah, but no, he was getting barked on. It was vicious. I'm strapped in, got that out the way early. Cold strapped in, man. It was cold. He was in his bag. NJT clearly got the first. But something happened at the end of that first where Clips told him, like, yo, that was cute, like what you did, but this is, basically like letting him know I'm in it for the long haul. We still got rounds to go. And the way he said it, it was kind of funny, but I can tell like he kind of meant that. Like it was something that I've been alluding to with NJT prior to this battle, where he has one of those magical haymaker moments. He's a moment battler. I keep saying it. He's a moment battler where he'll give you a moment, but 3-4 rounds of fire just really ain't in him right now. And I don't know if it'll change anytime soon. So Clips comes off and it's more the same from the first, but he's revved it up a little bit with an angle about how I guess the crowd receives and respects NJT as a lyricist. And he was attacking that angle. And this is something that I tweeted before. I was like, can we get battles with not so much of the bow and headshot? Like every sentence a bow, headshot, right? So he's attacking that angle that's saying just because he goes bow in the middle of a line doesn't make it lyrical. And he was giving examples. And what I really thought in the back of my head, he's doing the genius angle that Hollow used on him about his own material. So he took something that was used against him that was worked very well strategically and applied it to NJT, and it worked to perfection. And the examples he gave within breaking that angle down, it was genius. It was funny. It was clever. Couldn't really see it coming. Sometimes you could. And then he kept barring them, man. And his bars wasn't dated. It wasn't like heavy with the sports references like we know from Clips. It wasn't, too many just dry spots. It was attack. And I really liked that battle. And I really liked that round, that second round from Clips. That kind of changed the tide. And I know NJT, when he goes in the second round, he does address talking about the bows, like I can show you I'm nice without it thing, like, and he hit him with a flip, like a rebuttal mid round, and it was dope. But I believe he said bow again and it didn't hit, and that was the effect Clips was looking for when he broke it down with that angle. And I was like, damn, he took the sting off of his aggression, off of all that passion and energy combined with his punches. And I just think Clips pretty much got that round clearly, not as clearly as NJC's first, but it was damn good. Clips was damn good. Third round, I would say, was both of their weaker rounds. I would say Clips had a stumble there, but for the most part, he was flawless and he was still funny, still witty. I feel like NJT was spotty at best, so I gave Clips the third, which gets me to say that I got Clips winning rounds 2 and 3 and ultimately winning the battle. And it was basically like he said, and what I've been alluding to with NJT, he doesn't last. He doesn't have the stamina to continue. He loads up all his firepower for one round, and he just kind of falls flat. I feel that same way about Hitman, though. Although Hitman has got a high win percentage, and you can, but it's with Hitman. It's just his rounds don't be as good as his first round, because his first round has always been his best round. But the same applies to NJT, in just that one of his rounds is not necessarily the first round. Sometimes his thirds be crazy, but whatever round that is so much better than his other rounds, and it's like a huge gap that you just have to think that he's taking some of his best stuff from other rounds and putting them all in one round. Because there's no way you can write, because I don't understand the level drop off, and he does it every battle. And to come out in your first and just drop a perfect score, like a 50 in the dunk contest, like, and then hit us with like, okay, he got like a 46, and then hit us with like a 30 or something. Like, it was crazy. But he has to work on that. He has to get with his team, figure out what to take out when he's wigging, like, because he was wigging so hard in the first that I felt like he could have stopped at a certain point and saved that for a second or third. Because it's not like he's one of those guys who like heavy with angles. So like inserting some random punches or some punches with name flips or whatever would like disturb his pace or disturb his angle and content. So I don't know, something to work on. But Clips came back with a vengeance. I say he's gonna get 30. I got him winning 2-1. Shout out to Showtime SP was the only person I seen anywhere. Showtime SP was the only one I seen saying Clips was gonna win. Although he did it last minute, I guess, like hours before the battle. He called it. Shout out to him. Follow him. But yeah, so that was a good battle, man. That was a good battle. Yo, want to talk to you real fast about Anchor, all right? Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you can get paid to podcast. That's pretty dope, right? All you have to do is go to anchor.fm/start. Once again, that is anchor.fm/start. You'll get acclimated. Look, man, on here, there's podcasts for literally everything. Food, movies, entertainment, health, fitness, you name it, they got it. So why don't you come on in, grab a seat, and start podcasting soon. The next battle I was wrong about, the only battle I was wrong about was obviously the clean paper battle versus T-Top. I thought Clean was going to like rise to the occasion, a small room, kind of back to the essence of being a PG battler on URL. He just didn't have it. And what he used to be able to get away with, he just can't get away with anymore, which is like those unorthodox, like random chants of bars where it's not really a punch. It's just him telling you something. Like, you ain't, you know what I'm saying? You this and you that. They gotta do this, right? And then stop and then like have this long pause and then low flow you a little bit. Like, let me talk to you, dog. Like all that, like that format isn't really hitting in today's era. He might have to go back to the drawing board, not completely change, but like just tweak some stuff here and there. That's it. Just gotta tweak some stuff, man. And he had moments in there. He had moments, but it was so spotty that you couldn't give him a round, not a single round. And T-Top was just in this element with angles out of this world about, you know, obviously attacking QP's drug addictions or saying, oh, he's not a crackhead, he's a fiend, and there's no difference in that. Excuse me. He was just, yeah, man. It's not really too much to say about that battle. T-Top was just in, I wouldn't say in rare form, but he was in a nice comfort zone with this battle. And I don't know if QP, I don't know if Clean will be back, because I can't see him having this performance and getting another top tier battler on, not on URL. I'm just saying on URL. And I'm saying that I know there's guys who can have a lackluster performance and still get like top billing, but seeing as Clean has like been open and saying he's like, it's cartel over everything, Black Ice Cartel League, he's not one of those guys that's going to get that favor. I don't think he would have had to really put in a top-notch performance to get those big looks again on URL, and I just don't see it. So yeah, T-Top the clear 30, not a body. I almost wanted to call it that, but I think QP had enough moments in there where you wouldn't call it a body. It's still entertaining. It's one of the few battles where it still has replay value, because even though the guy got 30, he still said some good lines here and there. But overall, T-Top would just outclass the Mary round, in my opinion. Moving right along to the 4 I felt I was right about. And in all 4 of these, I feel like I'm right about, are very debatable. So I'm not just like, these are clear wins and I'm like clearly right. But I can go from the first battle that I felt I was right about kicking off, which was the first battle of the night, was Danny versus Trez. And I was worried at first because I felt like Danny started off slow. Started off very slow. Trez went first and set the tone beautifully. He was punching. He was like in his face. I like this new, maybe this new form of Trez, like this new energy he's got. Like he's all up in Cat's mug now. He's not like so far back. He's not just pandering to the camera and to like whoever's behind the camera in the audience. He's like really talking directly. His material is more direct. He's chaining his punches together way better than before. It's not as spotty, and it was like just it's something about him on these volumes, man. I know people are giving O-Red and NJT the title of like Mr. Volume or whatever, but I think people sleeping on Trez, man. He ain't did nothing but showed out since he's been on these volumes, and that first round had me like, oh, it's gonna be looking bad for Danny. Danny was good in the first. It just took him a minute, and it was nothing that he did. You know, sometimes your bars just don't land like you thought they would, and they just didn't. And Trez was more the same in the second, you know, with a fire rebuttal. And of course you expect that. But, you know, also Danny had rebuttals of his own too. He's freestyling too. And I wasn't shocked by that because he showed the ability to do that. I would say the tide turned midway in the second round, whereas this line that Danny used about the 30 and a 9, and that was hard. It was hard. Check these battles out, man. Just check them out. And I just think the tide turned, and overall the third round was going to be a push. But the reason I edged that round to Danny as well as the second rounds, because I felt like, first of all, Trez said something like, basically, since he felt like he won the first 2 rounds, he can just freestyle the whole third. And I was like, huh? Like, you didn't, that's a bad idea because that's false. You didn't win both rounds. But he thought he did, and he just started freestyling like the whole round. Now, he had some fire moments within that freestyle, but it was choppy, and it was kind of all over the place. And he lost me with that one. And Danny was just being Danny and kind of barked on him. Also took shots at Briz, who was standing right behind him. And he was just mad aggressive as always. High energy with really dope punches, man. And he was like chaining stuff together. And he was giving a little bit more like grown man bars, a little real talk in there. And I just thought Danny got that 2-1. Moving right along. Yeah, that was really nothing to say. That was a really good battle, though. That was the perfect battle I felt to set the tone, because you knew, if nothing else, you knew they was going to get through their material pretty cleanly. Because Trez and Danny can do that, especially Danny. So that was like the perfect battle to kick it off with, because you got those are real pros right there. John and Don versus O-Red. My God. Shout out to them for providing a really dope face-off, the best face-off of the card. Like, y'all came like y'all really cared. So shout out. And I guess none of that matters because the card was dope, but still, you want to see some tension. You want to see some of that Twitter fingers. You want to see that verbalized, right? I know I do sometimes. But anyway, so John comes out. He's like in a robe, the same little robe I think he had against Hollow, a Versace robe. You know, looking like a rich villain, like, or something like that. But and then O-Red, he's going first, and he is coming out the gate wigging, like he is spazzing on John. Like, it was real tension, man. It was real tension. You can tell because he was spazzing. Whether it was just hard, he'll punch your lights out, but he buried punches with substance in this battle, which is not always a custom with Red. And sometimes his bars can just be at random, and he does use sport references and stuff like that. But he tied it all together, and he was really spazzing really well. He had a lot of cold John flips too. And I know John's name gets flipped around a lot, or the Don gets flipped around a lot. But if you can do it creatively, it can still hit. And O-Red did a few times. John goes after that, and I'm like, damn, how you gonna come after that? Because that was another like kind of like Eclipse round. It was like an 8.5. But bro, John comes out the gate. Now we know, if you've seen the battle, everybody said like, he did this whole like wardrobe change. People seen Prep do it versus Chilla, obviously. He did it. Come on, like Prep ain't do it like this. Prep ain't do it nearly as close to this. The timing of everything landed. It took a little time because there was one part where he like got his slacks and put them on and tried to like tuck his shirt inside and then put on his suspenders. But it was a scheme, and each time he like put on an article of clothing, he used that bar or whatever that clothing was to be a part of the scheme, and it was dope, man. It was pretty insane, and not go front. And it took a while, but everything landed to me. And then he just kept spazzing on him, man. Like, he said so much stuff in that first. It was fire. I had to give him that round. Had to. Red was fired in the second. Best round of his, I wouldn't say his career, but it was the best round he's had in a minute. Because, he was good against Solomon, but he ain't had rounds like this. This second round, he was flaming John. And what I noticed was he, like I said, he had substance, and he even angled like to a degree, like using the whole, obviously people know about John League bullpen, had a Super Bowl like battle, card, but he didn't tell people it was going to be run rounders. So people paid $35 expecting 3 rounds, but there was only 1 rounders. He kind of told them late or last minute, or didn't tell them at all. So he attacked that angle about how he's like a janky promoter, how he's like crooked, and he attacked that joint so well. Like, even incorporating the amount of money, 35, using it as a play on like punches, like punchlining with it to incorporate John and the $35. It was crazy, man. He was wigging on John. Now, John goes, and he was dope that round too. It was a total reverse of the first round, where I gave O-Red like an 8.5, and I didn't think it would be top, but John topped it. It was kind of like that, the same, but except John, he's going last every time. But his round was like 8.5 in the second. It just wasn't enough for against Old Red. But John had really fire material, even like a dope, I wouldn't say rebuttal. It was more like a on the spot written like line where he knew if he said this line he said a line that Geechee Gotti said before. He knew that Old Red is a student of the game and was going to say, you got that from Geechee. And he took the bait and he hit him with like, a Mafia John Gotti reference. And it was fire. It was a kind of a room shaker almost. But that moment alone doesn't give him the round for me. It was probably, but I would say it's probably the best line of the second round though, just off the cleverness and the impact it had. But going into the third, it's tied 1-1. O-Red round was dope. He was just stumbling a few times, and I think he alluded to it in an interview where he said John said a line that he was going to use the John Gotti. Matter of fact, it was the Gotti line, and he said he bunny hopped it, and he had to move things around, and it kind of messed up his round, I suppose. But he was still dope. And it wasn't like big chokes. Like, it wasn't like I'm choking. It was more like stumbling and like trying to find ways. He did do a nice little rebuttal mid round, which I don't remember seeing from O-Red. I ain't know he had that on him. But all in all, John and Don to me was more flawless in the third. No slips, no stumbles. Had dope material. I know people are really funny with this. People are really funny with, how did he win the third when most of his material wasn't about Red? People have had impact rounds where I don't think necessarily the B-Dot third against Emerson Kennedy was fully about him. He alluded to him sometimes, but it was more about Smack. But people thought that was like such a monumental round. Like, John is addressing everything. Leagues, certain MCs, and he got back to Red eventually. It wasn't like the whole round was about, his journey and all that. I thought it was dope. he was kicking real facts to, or what may be perceived as real facts. Thought it was dope. And like I said, I deduct points for you being like choppy and stumbling through your material. So I gave that battle to John 2-1. And what was the last battle? No, excuse me. Suge versus Rum. Yo, first of all, I want to say props to Suge for taking guys that he know who has elite pins, because in that is forcing him to step his pin game up. He did that. Though I got him losing this battle, I still respect that he's a vet, like a real vet, like been in this for a minute. But he's not content with just being where he is. Like he's looking for new things to elevate his game. So I respect that. Salute. The battle was okay-ish. Probably outside of T-Top. I wouldn't even say the T-Top battle versus Clean was bad. I would just say it was very one-sided. This was probably the most lackluster battle, and I'll take another L because I said I thought there was gonna be battle of the night, and it really wasn't. Could have done without this battle, honestly. But Rum did have moments. And at first he was spazzing like crazy. Suge, he tried to hang. He really did. Like he was one of his better performances as a writer. They did a lot of dunking on each other in this battle. I was watching an All-Star game or some shit. Like it was a lot of points getting made by dunks. It was oops. You had Geechee joining Rum for oops and things like that. Then you had NJT and old Red over there on Suge's side catching lobs and dunk. It was a lot of dunks. And I think Suge has to get away from those type of antics if he's really trying to level his pen up. His second round was good. Best round of the battle, best round of the battle for him. But I still got him losing all 3 rounds. And I thought he was going to get a round. I don't think he got a round. And that's very unfortunate. But like I said, salute to him on taking guys like a Rum and knowing that he had to step his level of pen game up. I think if he's on this same journey, hey, I want to take the best pins in the game. I think by the end of the year, we could be seeing a much improved Suge. So keep an eye on that and salute the Rum because he came with his material, man, punching out the gate. First round was dope. Second round was cool. And third, he pretty much got him out of here because Suge did Jersey in the third prematurely. I kind of seen it coming. I even text like he's just at this point he's going very slowly so he can get through his third. I can tell he couldn't remember his material that well, and he was also tired because he's a big guy with all that performance he was doing, dunking and moving around. He got winded, stamina. You know what I mean? So it happens. Lastly, Ars versus Geechee. Really good battle. You can argue this is battle of the night as the main event. Wow, man. Arsenal goes first. Instantly in his face. And he just took all the way off. Damn, Ars. I ain't know Ars was going to... I had Ars winning going into this battle. I didn't think he was going to take off like that in the first from the gate. Very, very little filler. And that's kind of what gets Ars in trouble. A lot of people feel like it's all disrespect and it's all filler. Very little filler. He was getting straight to the point in all his rounds and all his material. And that first, he was cooking, man. Cooking, very consistent. Closing the space. Like, I like that. I like when you go from your side of the stage, or in this case, it's on the side of the floor, and you walk up and press the other person. Like, not physical, not bumping or like pushing, getting into an altercation, but just closing the distance, letting them know this is my, you know what I'm saying? It's my house. It's what time it is. You know what I mean? So I felt it, man. Ars was cooking. Geechee, Geechee was dope in the first two. Don't get me wrong, but his first in this battle kind of reminded me of the first against Shine. And I don't know if that's just a pattern on URL or maybe I gotta check the tapes, whatever. But he started off a little slow, a little bit, but he warmed up. He had really good support. Coffee, Rum, Danny, they was all there supporting him. Cause I guess they learned from last time he they didn't want him to get overshadowed this time due to any gas. Cause Jersey ride with Art's heavy. You got Big Suge there. He gonna be loud and just making all types of sounds, grunting and all that. So they had to match that energy, and they matched the energy as far as Entourage for the most part. But I gave the first round easily to Ars. Second round kicks off, back on Ars. Oh my God, Ars was taking off. Ars was taking off. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not even gonna hold you. Ars was taking off. Angles about, him not being like the smartest guy, kind of like what the JC did, but he's talking about it from like as a street guy, which JC isn't. So his stuff was like hitting a little bit harder, like talking about, I'm the realest, like I'm more street than you because I never been locked up or something like that. Oh man, I ain't want to say a line, but you know what I mean, because I don't really do that. But it was just angles with punches. He was being a little silly, but it wasn't like that torturous arse that you normally hear, like, I'll do this, punch your head in the blender, all this wild Eminem from back in the early old Eminem 03 days where he's just talking about violent ways of destroying you and your family. Although Arse did get to that, but it was more of a real talk about who was realer as a Crip, and he was kind of sunning him about his prices, like, I'm getting this much, you getting nada. He was just in his element, man. And then the stream went down due to some faulty connections, I guess. The stream went down and he was wigging. Also, he had a fire freestyle based on Geechee's posture, because Geechee had his hands behind his back with his head down. Just pay attention to that. When you see that, you would be like, oh, that's what Ledge was talking about. It was fire, man. Fire, but the stream went down, kind of killed the momentum a little bit, but not for me. But I guess when it came back, you could kind of sense people were just ready for Geechee to rap now, because you basically extended more time for Ars, which seemed like he was rapping forever in that second round due to the stoppage. So yeah, man, he was wigging. I honestly, I already had Ars 2-0 up in that battle. I had him 2-0 already. But Geechee's second was fire, and his third, Geechee thirds are like made for TV, man. It's some made for TV moments. And it was a lot of what kind of like the What Your Life Like. It was typical Geechee, but he just is. You know what you're getting, but you can't stop it when it's said so profoundly and so dope. And he was cooking in the third. And Arch was good, but it just wasn't his best round. It was his weakest round of the battle to me. Those first two was just flames. But I got Geechee the third, and I got Arch the first two, which makes it a 2-1 battle for Arch. Overall, I would probably give this card a solid. It's very solid 8 to 8.5. I give it about an 8.5. Yeah, man. It is a very solid card. Salute. A lot of people doubted. I thought the matchups didn't make sense. But no, yeah, I would say I thought they wouldn't make sense. Like, I didn't think they would like matter at all. And I still kind of feel that way. Like, I feel like battling T-Top beating clean doesn't do anything for T-Top, right? Danny and Trez, like, winning that battle versus each other doesn't ascend them to anything. Like, I don't think they're about to get a super big battle against a really big opponent after beating, with whichever one you got winning. I don't think Clips beating NJT does anything bad to NJT. That's kind of like, I don't want to call him their cash cow, but he's like one of their faces. Like, they're not about to demote him because a lot of people got him losing the Clips. So that's what I meant by it doesn't really do anything. It's kind of pointless. But the battles are dope. And I would say all of them except all of them except Suge and Rum got replay value in my eyes. So salute. It's getting late here. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. yo, follow me on socials. I get a lot of likes and, retweets, but nobody really follows your boy. Follow me on the socials. Y'all know, if you look at my timeline during the Smack volume, I chop it up with everybody. I don't just wait for like the big names or the big media members to talk. I'm talking to everybody. Even if you're not following me, I don't know you, I'ma holler at you. So like, yeah, man, follow me at Pod Tier on Twitter, at Pod Tier, and on Instagram _ Top Tier Podcast. Anyway, follow me on YouTube as well. Click the like, share, subscribe with the notification bell as well, so you can be, reminded, and you can be getting the scoop anytime I upload. You'll get that notification and it'll hit you up. I appreciate you guys tuning in. It's a pretty long podcast this time. My apologies, but we had to get it in, man. It was a volume, and it was a damn good volume. And like I said, man, I want to just salute everybody. Shout out to Avocado. He did his thing as usual. And yeah, so I'm gonna go catch some sleep. Gotta do normal shit. And with that being said, keep it battle rap. Love.